Very pleased to have with us Frank Miniter, who had a piece in National Review, Issa Investigates Project Gunrunner. And Frank, how you doing tonight, sir?
Cam, good to talk to you again.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show. The first of several hearings on Operation Fast and Furious taking place today on Capitol Hill. And, the story I think coming out of today, Frank, is that the Justice Department's not cooperating. Representative Issa is not happy, and definitely spelled out the possibility of not just additional congressional subpoenas, but perhaps contempt of Congress charges.
Absolutely true. He's trying to find a way to negotiate to find out if he can make these Department of Justice officials come in and actually tell him the truth about what's going on with this program. They're using their own investigation as a cover screen to hide, so they don't actually have to come in and talk to Congress and tell what they did, letting thousands of guns across the border into Mexico. It's completely ridiculous, especially when you realize on Wednesday they'll have family members from the slain Border Patrol agent Brian Terry, as well as some of the members of the team that were in that firefight with him, just to try to get the news out there and try to get this talked about and try to find some answers on this.
Yeah, and we do have so many questions, Frank, and so few answers. And in part, as Representative Issa said, the Justice Department's reaction to this subpoena so far has been, look, you investigating us is getting in the way of us going after these suspected firearms traffickers. Now, as Representative Issa pointed out, what we're talking about here are these very low-level criminal cases that have nothing. Look, if you ask me and you ask Representative Issa and you ask, I think, anybody who's followed the story, the Justice Department could cooperate when talking about Fast and Furious without jeopardizing any cases that they may have against specific individuals.
Well, absolutely, and we're a government of checks and balances. Why should a government with government appointees and running the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, be able to investigate itself only and not have Congress, who thank goodness in 2010 the House was won by Republicans, so they could come in and have some checks and balances on that party that's in power with this scandal. I'm wondering right now, where's Woodward and Bernstein on this kind of thing? You compare this to Watergate, and it may seem silly to say it, but no one died in Watergate. An American was killed by one of these firearms. We have to find answers to this.
Yeah, no, you're right, and the attitude from the administration, and as you point out here, President Obama said in an interview with Univision that he didn't know about this. As far as he knew, he says, I did not authorize it. Eric Holder, the Attorney General, did not authorize it. Eric Holder has said that he only learned about the investigation in the past couple of months.
Frank said he learned about it from CBS.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then Obama said that he's hiding behind, he says government has a lot of big layers and shifts and levers, and I can't know what's going on everywhere. Who's accountable? If not the Attorney General and above him, we need to find out at what level okayed these thousands of guns to go into the Mexican drug cartel.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is. And, I don't know what to believe when President Obama makes a statement like that. Given the importance that President Obama has placed on the cartel fight in Mexico, in terms of our gun laws, remember Attorney General Eric Holder used Mexico as one of the points that he tried to make when he said that we needed to reimpose a ban on semi-automatic rifles. And the Obama administration has been beating that drum for the past several years.
Well, President Obama over and over again is quoted saying 90% of the guns in Mexico, were found in crimes in Mexico had come from the U.S. We know that figure to be false. Those are the guns that were turned over with the Mexican government because they thought they came from the U.S. So it's a false fact. I wonder if the administration, if not up higher, wasn't so embarrassed by this that they started this part of this Fast and Furious program, because this is only a part of the Project Gunrunner that was started during Obama's administration.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Project Gunrunner, and that goes back into Bush's administration. I wonder if this wasn't started as some kind of cover to give him a better stat.
I've wondered that too, Frank. And that's the thing. When you don't have answers, you can't help but come up with all kinds of questions.
You start wondering, right? We need a deep throat to step out here and answer these questions for us.
Well, maybe Wednesday when John Dodson, the ATF agent who kind of blew the whistle on this, when he testifies on Wednesday, maybe that will be the Mark Felt deep throat moment.
Yeah, well, I don't think he knows. He's said over and over again that he doesn't. He was told by his managers he doesn't know how high up it goes. So I think they have to get past him to the other layers, which is what today's hearing was about.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how they can accomplish that. To try to dig some answers out here.
You know, the other crazy thing, Frank, at least from my perspective, is this shouldn't be a partisan issue. I mean, this shouldn't be just something that Republicans are concerned about. This should be something that I think every lawmaker should be concerned about. And yet, I'm looking at a report here by Senators Dianne Feinstein, Charles Schumer, and Sheldon Whitehouse halting U.S. firearms trafficking to Mexico. This was just released today. And, Frank, in a report on halting U.S. firearms trafficking to Mexico, they don't mention Fast and Furious once.
Well, politicians can play politics. I get it. But where is the New York Times? Where is the Washington Post? Where is the investigation? Why isn't this on a front page somewhere? Why isn't this at least being talked about? I'm trying to keep up with it, and I'm going to go to the hearing on Wednesday to try to figure out what's going on here. You Google it. How much you'll come up with it. It's amazing. When I talked to National Review about doing a piece on it, they said they kind of heard of it, but they didn't really know much about it. To me, that was astounding.
Wow, that is astounding, especially because Jim Garrity and I did a piece for National Review a couple months ago. I got to talk to those editors over there, Frank. They need.
I shouldn't get myself in trouble with them. They do fantastic stuff.
I will say this. I mean, in terms of the partisan split, Representative Jason Altmaier and 31 House Democrats did write to President Obama saying, "Quit the stonewalling."
Right.
So that was, in fact, that's probably the biggest bipartisan gesture that we've seen. And I would note that it was coming from, mostly Blue Dog Democrats, certainly not Nancy Pelosi or anybody like that.
No, and I know the NRA behind that. I'm sure it was helping get that across. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Frank, what do you think we'll see and hear on Wednesday's hearing?
I think this is going to be an emotional outcry because you have family members from Brian Terry coming, and you have his teammates, who that becomes a family in any kind of unit of that caliber. Mm-hmm. So I think there's going to be a lot of emotional appeal, and I just hope that I'm not the only journalist there in the room listening to this. I hope somebody from a mainstream paper or network is willing to take this and get it through whatever editor they have to get it through, or producer, to get it out there. We're talking about it, and it's here and there, but it really does need. Because without light being shined on it, how can we find the truth?
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, Frank, I know that our producer Cameron Gray is planning on attending on Wednesday, so not quite the mainstream media, but at least there will be one other journalist in the room.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Frank, thanks for coming on the show tonight, sir. We'll look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thanks, Cam.